call this meeting to order. I call this meeting to order of the Hawarden City Council. This is our regular meeting on Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. It is 5:30 p.m. We'll start with our standard agenda items. 1A is approval of the December 10, 2025 regular meeting minutes. It's been in your packet. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. 1B is approval of January 14th, 2026 claims for payment. Any questions about those? If not, I would take a motion.
So moved.
And a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. You getting all this, Misty?
That's real hard.
Open business from the community. Do we have anyone that would like to speak with us tonight? Seeing no one rushing up to the microphone, we'll move on to the mayor's report. First of all, I'd like to welcome our new council members, Ben and Trevor. Looking forward to working with you and moving the city forward and doing some good things.
Thank you.
On December 16th, I met with the Sioux County supervisors to advocate for increased funding levels for the county libraries. We'll find out the amount approved in the next couple of months. On December 23rd, I was invited to help lead caroling with the 2nd through 5th graders at the Hawarden Elementary building. That was fun. Tonight, after this meeting, I'll be attending the Sioux County Emergency Management Commission meeting. The commission is responsible for overseeing emergency preparedness, response, and recovery efforts within Sioux County, and is composed of the mayors of each city in the county, a member of the County Board of Supervisors, and the new county sheriff, Nathan Heisinga. The commission appoints and delegates authority to an emergency management coordinator to lead daily operations and disaster response. Our new Sioux County Emergency Management Coordinator is Ryan DeGruff, who was appointed last July. At this time, we'll move on to staff reports. Jacob.
Okay, I also wanted to welcome the new council members. Look forward to working with you guys. We'll talk a little bit after this meeting about some of the stuff I put in front of you guys' chairs. I also wanted to introduce Misty to the city and its citizens. Misty is going to be our new deputy clerk, taking on the role that I was previously doing before moving to administrator. We have been working side by side for a little over a month. She started December 1st, and I am very excited that she is here and joining us. It's going to be great. We have been doing a lot of training and a lot of year-end stuff. It's been a very busy time of the year for somebody to be coming on, which will be good because she'll see some of the stuff that she'll have to do by the time it's next year. So, yes, very good about that. The only thing I'm going to talk about my council report a little bit more is behind you guys, I put up the budget timeline of what we're going to be doing over the next few council meetings to talk about the budget. The budget will need to be passed by April 22nd's meeting, and we're going to back out for that. We're going to have a couple different spots that are going to have some deadlines. We're going to be setting the tax levy for the citizens on how much money is going to come from their property taxes. And that will have to be finalized by February 25th for that council meeting. We are going to get sheets out to all of you guys and in the council packets. It will be available in the next council meeting's council packet for the citizens to go find and look through the budgets. The initial ones will be there for everybody to go over. And then next meeting, we are going to go through those quickly and just look at highlighting the big changes that we have. Just an introduction, what is the big changes from last year to this year. We will have approximately 3 meetings after that to go through and do some major changes to those if we need to and figure out what we want to focus on. that March 25th meeting is the last day to make any changes to the budget. Anything after that will have to wait until the next year's budget. Everything by that meeting needs to be finalized so that we can get going. I'll make sure each of you guys has a copy of this timeline so that we can do that, and I will be reiterating how many meetings we have left to go every time we bring up the budget. So that is really all I'm going to talk about right now. I will say that I am optimistic that our tax levy rate is going to have a significant decrease this year for our citizens, and we will still be able to make it throughout the year with that significant decrease. So we are looking at doing some good stuff with that. Katie, I'll hook you up with some more details later. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Travis is off at another meeting tonight. Misty, did you have anything you wanted to report or tattle on Jacob or whatever you want to do?
I don't know, sometimes I think my superiors might get nervous when I decide to speak, just because they're not sure what I'm going to say, but no. Training has been going great. It's a good time to come on because it's hectic, and I learn best that way, so that way the calm stuff feels so much easier. So I'm actually grateful for a lot of the little mistakes and things that have come up. It's been good. Jacob's a great trainer. We work really well together, so
Good,
that's my tattle.
good. We are very glad to have you, and it looks like you work together well, and thank you for that. Jenny, do you have anything tonight?
Nothing, thank you.
And Chief DePriest.
Continuing to work through the policy manual update that we're doing. If you weren't aware, we started this project back in October, and initially we're off to a hot start. There has been some slowdown, but I have been through and drafted most of the main manual, and now we'll just be going back through and refining things and making sure that it fits the needs of our department. Also been working on the budget, and a big focus is on our department's equipment, what we have and what we expect for its lifespan going forward, just to know whether it'll need replaced in the next fiscal year or years to come.
Good. Thank you. Carol?
I'm just busy jumping on board for a couple grants that are dealing with some trees. We've had some issues and we need to have some more planted, so working on a grant with that. A couple, hopefully, some nice amenities to add to our community for citizens to enjoy. I'm working on a bigger grant for that one, about $400,000. I'm putting together the final strategic plan for 2026 for what my goals would be as far as developing new things in the city, changing things in the city. I'm going to focus a little bit on downtown open hours and figure out how to keep our downtown lively and viable. The upper story projects downtown are going great. I'm very proud of how those are coming together. That's working out well. I have put together a little bit more information on the website. We did launch on the new Civic Plus platform. It is what it is. I was able to visit with Travis Olson a little bit more about some talking points. He gave me a list of them. I'd like to go through those maybe at the next meeting and kind of see, because we'll need to decide what we're going to do with that website, because that will come up in April. So we'll have to change that or stay where we're at. Just a little bit of work on the budget as far as mine is concerned. It isn't a big deal. Went through it with Travis, and that was okay. Next week, we were supposed to have the chamber coffee at the new shelter. We're going to push that back to the February 26th date. They are laying the last layer on the floor. Our new floor looks fantastic. It's very exciting. So we're going to have the chamber coffee next month on the 26th. But that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Council comments. I'll just open that up to anyone who has anything that they would like to say tonight. Okay, then let's move on to other agenda items. Item 3 is mayoral appointments. I have asked Rob to be mayor pro tem again this year, and the Chamber Board Representative, which he has done in the past. I have appointed Ben to Chamber Development Board Representative, Rob and Derek to the Management Committee, and Christy and Trevor to the City Hospital Joint Committee. And we have had a request from the Hawarden Historical Society to have a board member or a council member on their board. And so if any of you would be interested in serving in that position, please let me know. Or if any of these appointments don't work for you, let me know that too, please, after the meeting or before the next meeting. Going on to number 4 is a resolution 2026-01 adopting the IAMU Natural Gas Operator Qualification Plan Revision 1.1.
Yep. So the natural gas operator qualification plan ensures evaluation that each person performing safety-sensitive tasks on the pipeline can perform those tasks using a combination of written and hands-on testing with record keeping, allows us to stay in compliance with the state and federal regulations. Revision is needed to update the plan to comply with the Iowa Utility Commission guidelines. Many of the changes are clerical in nature, with some items being dropped or added to the plan. And the plan would have been uploaded kind of separately, but I don't know if that worked very well because it's a very large plan. But we went through it, Travis went through it, didn't see any issues with it, and it just needs to be adopted so that we can still have coverage for that area.
Any discussion or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-01.
Thank you, Derek. And a second?
Second.
Second by Trevor. We will do a roll call vote on this. Aye or nay. Allen.
Aye.
Boza.
Aye.
Clucky.
Aye.
Skelling.
Aye.
Warner.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to number 5, a resolution 2026-02 adopting the IAMU Natural Gas Operating and Maintenance Plan Revision 1.2.
Okay, so much like the last one, this is another thing that has been pushed to us from them that we need to pass. The plan has 3 parts to it: emergency plan and procedures, written procedures and requirements and recommendations. This plan is a backbone to operating a safe, reliable natural gas system, meeting all state and federal regulations. Revision was needed to update the plan to comply with Iowa Utility Commission's guidelines. So, same as the last one.
Questions or comments? If not, I would like a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-02.
Motion by Derek, second.
Second.
Second by Rob. Boza.
Aye.
Clucky.
Aye.
Skelling.
Aye.
Warner.
Aye.
Allen.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. Number 6 is a public hearing. This is an open public hearing to propose the disposal of real property. At this time, I will open the public hearing. Do we have anyone present who would like to speak to that issue? And Jacob, have you gotten any feedback from anyone, or is there anything else you want to add to that?
We have not. We've gotten no comment from.
Okay. Then at this time, I will close the public hearing and move on to 6B, Resolution 2026-03, authorizing the final disposition of real property. You want to give us a little bit of context there?
Yep. So I'll just pull this up again. I think we have the map in here possibly. My mouse doesn't work.
I don't think it's in this one, Jacob. I think it was in the last one.
Oh. Okay. So it's in the same area that we've been getting there, the industrial park area. It's just another lot over there. And what is happening here is they are purchasing that lot from us. They're going to do all the build-up to get it ready and for somebody to be able to just purchase it and build. And that was the whole reason behind them kind of getting behind and doing this, because it helps somebody pull the trigger a little bit better when the property is ready to go.
Okay. Any questions or further discussion? If not, I'll take a motion, please.
I'll make that motion for resolution 2026-03.
Motion by Clucky and a second.
I'll second. You can have it. It's yours.
Thank you.
Warner with a second.
Yes.
We'll do roll call vote again. We'll start with Clucky.
Aye.
Skelling.
Aye.
Warner.
Aye.
Allen.
Aye.
Boza.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. Number 7 is a public hearing. It's an open public hearing to consider proposed changes to the Hawarden Code of Ordinance by amending cable television utility rates and fees. At this time, I'll open the public hearing at 5:46. Do we have anyone present who would like to speak to that issue? Seeing none, has there been any,
No, we have not received anything for the ordinance.
nothing from the public on that? So at this time, I will close the public hearing at 5:46 and move on to item B. No, we're on item B, final reading of ordinance 761, an ordinance amending cable rates and fees of the city of Hawarden.
Okay. I just want to take my time, speak clearly, to get out there again, because I want anybody to get the chance to hear what we're putting out and what's going to happen. We're also going to put it on Facebook. We're going to put it on the website. We're going to be pushing it out. This is going to go out in the paper after it passes tonight, if it passes tonight. So these are the changes in the cable rates. The new price for basic cable is going to go up to $43, and the new cost for expanded basic service is going to go up to $113. Now, it looks like the basic before was $37.93, so it will be going up about $5. And then you have the expanded basic that was $92.27 going to the $113. So that one is a little bit more. But what we did on this is we calculated how much it costs us to broadcast it to them, and we are making pennies per customer per month on this, while we were losing substantial amounts. So that's what brought this on. The other big change that was in this is that we no longer have digital channels, so they will be removed from this. Following this, we will start looking at our internet packages after this. These new rates will be billed out at the end of February for March's bill. So giving plenty of time to get our notice out to everybody so that we can try and be as proactive as we can to let people know that this is coming.
Jacob, what did you say about digital channels again?
So the digital channels, we don't have the ability to transmit them anymore from the other side of things. So they're being taken away from this. What we are going to continue to do is looking at a different way of broadcasting our data, which will change all of this again if we find another provider that is going to get our streaming out. So
How many digital channels were we broadcasting?
I think that there was a little over probably 40 or 50. And then I think we had about 15 people that had the digital packages.
Are all those channels still offered in analog or?
Yes, yeah. Or at least the ones that had an analog version of them.
Other questions? Comments? If not, I would like a motion, please.
I'll motion to approve the final reading of ordinance 761.
Motion by Warner and a second.
Second.
Second by Boza. All those in favor of approving the ordinance amending the cable rates and fees, we will do a roll call again. We'll start with Skelling.
Aye.
Warner.
Aye.
Allen.
Aye.
Boza.
Aye.
Clucky.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. Moving on, discussion of electric scooters. We've talked about scooters for the last couple meetings. So what we'd like to do is figure out what we want to do moving forward, what kind of language we want before we actually put it in a formalized manner. So the first point, or the first proposal is a minimum age requirement of 10 years old. Thoughts on that? Do we want to go there or not?
How do we prove an age of a child without stopping them and asking?
Well, that's what you do, is you stop and ask them.
I don't. That's what I mean. You can't exactly just stop and ID somebody for no reason. So unless they're doing something wrong, it's, we're not going to really know.
Chief DePriest, have you had issues with children under the age of 10 at this point?
As far as on the scooters,
Correct.
most of the time under the age of 10, they have been passengers, so riding double with an older rider. That's where the biggest issue with the younger kids are.
Yeah. I know I've seen kids that look pretty young riding and operating a electric scooter with even a younger child on the back. But the reason I'm proposing this is because, they're operating on city streets. A motorized scooter requires, a specific level of strength, coordination, motor skills, judgment, and a basic understanding of traffic laws and city ordinances. I'm not sure most 10-year-olds are up to those criteria. We do actually, I believe, in our curfew ordinance, have a procedure to find out the age of a minor. Asking, and then there's a procedure that goes on. So that might be something that, if there's a question, you might just believe them, unless it's obvious that they're not 10 years old.
And that's the other thing. How much effort do we want to put into finding out their actual age? How much time are we going to put into it?
It's not going to be the highest priority, but I think if the police see that someone is obviously too young to be operating the scooter that they're on, I think that it would be appropriate for the police to at least ask them how old they are. They might not know there's an age requirement.
Is there any legalities on that, Jenny?
As far as pulling them over?
Just stopping them to ask them their age?
You can stop them. There's legalities with the situation as a whole, but yeah, we can ask a 10-year-old for an ID, and you're going to go back to the house and say, I need to see your birth certificate. I don't know, what are your thoughts, Chief?
I would need reasonable suspicion to believe that the child was under 10 years old to stop them in the first place. If I believed they were under, I could stop them, and we could investigate that further if needed, but I would at least need reasonable suspicion.
And my concern with that, and it has nothing to do with you, is we pull over a lot of people on this side of town with reasonable suspicion, but no one over here is getting pulled over. it's different when someone's driving drunk and there's an action, but when we're doing it based upon looks alone, I think it causes me concern. Not anything against you, just in general.
Brian, how much do you foresee pulling a kid over and asking how old he is if he's riding?
If this was adopted at some point, I would again say that I'd have to have that reasonable suspicion that they were not in compliance with the ordinance. And then I think my next step would be a call to the parent if possible, but depending on the age of the child, are they going to know their parent's phone number? Then we go to their house. But it's not all too often so far that I've pulled people under 10 years old riding these yet.
See, in practice, I see something like this you see something happening that you don't think is appropriate, some dangerous behavior, something like that, and then you make an approach of the kid, and then you ask how old he is, and then it goes in that direction. As opposed to, I see every kid, I'm going to ask how old they are. I don't think I see it happening that way.
No.
Correct.
Yeah, and you wouldn't pull over every kid, first of all. And second of all, it would be, like you had said, you would have to have a pretty good idea that this child is less than 10 years old. I mean, if he looks about 10 years old, you're probably not going to do anything. And if you do, it's probably just going to be pull them over, ask them. If they're too young, probably going to tell them, well, you know, this is a warning that you're really not supposed to be riding until you're 10. That's how I see it in practice. I don't see you going to the house and expecting a birth certificate or anything. But if you have a suspicion that maybe they're giving you false information, I
Well,
mean, that's up to you.
sorry, I thought you were
Yeah, no,
finished.
yep.
So with saying that, I have a hard time putting an ordinance in effect if we're just not going to follow exactly what we're discussing either. So I'm going to go back to what I said at our last council meeting, that I'm not in favor of any of these little bullet points presented to amend the ordinance that we just passed, and we really haven't given it any time to come to fruition, and so I'm just going to save your time for me. I'm not in favor of any of these points.
Okay. Thank you.
So can you give me a little background here on, and again, we're coming into this a little late to the game, probably a little bit, but currently, do you have a mechanism if you see a 5-year-old riding a scooter to stop them and say, how old are you? Or you shouldn't be doing this? Do you have any kind of recourse right now?
Yeah, so if they were a danger to themselves or others, if we saw a dangerous act, or if they were putting themselves in harm's way, we could stop and address them. But on age alone, right now, no. There would have to be other contributing circumstances.
I think just to kind of lay some background for Ben and Trevor, this came up, obviously, it came up in a lot of communities. It came up within the state quite a bit. And typically, we defer to state regulations. Well, the state has not come up with any sort of necessarily mechanisms to enforce this because of the nature of the people, right? They're children. And it's not necessarily a criminal act, so how do you enforce it? So it's not for lack of discussion. There's been discussions in all cities that I'm aware of by state level as to what to do. So when we discussed it, don't ask me what the date was, but it's not that long ago.
It was early summer.
You know, yeah, we really, and it was after, it was after school started, because we were hoping, if we could have had the schools maybe do some awareness, so it was after school was out. What can we do? What areas are they really concerning? You know, can we eliminate them on these streets? Because, and that's sort of the approach we took. That we didn't do any sort of age restriction or helmet requirement. Just tried to do what we could do in order to eliminate, accidents, if possible.
I think we should leave it to law enforcement discretion, because if you got a 7-year-old or a 5-year-old riding it, that's an unsafe act in amongst itself. I don't think a hard and fast, it's a good idea, it's good in spirit, it's good in theory. I just don't think we can enforce it. I just simply don't think we can. So, but I'd leave it up to law enforcement judgment, because, you know, a 5-year-old riding it is unsafe. That's an unsafe act. They have the authority to do that. So that's how I'd leave it.
Is that how you would interpret that?
I think, again, other circumstances into that location would be one. If you have a 5-year-old that's riding in the middle of the park on a sidewalk, that's different than if a 5-year-old's riding it on the street, or the sidewalk in front of their house, and not going any further. I think that would be less of a concern for me. But anytime you're talking places where motor vehicles travel or kids are placed in harm's way, then I think that the severity of it definitely would be problematic given the age of the rider.
Yeah, I'd rather leave that up to their discretion rather than having a hard and fast rule that we can't really enforce. So,
Okay. Is there a consensus on that?
I'd agree with what Eric said.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think we probably need a little bit more time if we were gonna do anything else to see, but, I mean, it's just hard to, see what each scenario is gonna be and how would you enforce that. So that's where I'm kind of at with it.
Okay. Thanks for your input on that. Number 2 is mandatory helmet use for riders age 14 and under.
So I have a question about this. I remember when we went through this before, and we have to treat motorized scooters just like bicycles, right? That's how the Iowa law reads it, right?
As pedestrians.
Right. So does it falls as a person, a pedestrian walking or someone on a bicycle?
My understanding is somebody walking.
We can't do this because we don't force people under the age of 18 to wear a helmet when they walk. We can't do this. Because if we have to treat it the same as a pedestrian, we can't make a different rule for it. We don't require kids to we don't have an age limit for kids to wear helmets on their bicycle.
Or a moped.
Or a moped. Or there's no helmet law for motorcycles in Iowa. I like the idea, again, I like all these ideas, it just, the enforceability of it is something that I don't think we can do.
Jenny, would you agree that we couldn't require those that are operating a motorized scooter, we can't require them to wear helmets unless we require pedestrians?
I would, at the way the state is now, they're classified the same way. And I think it comes to enforcement. Again, you're not going to give a ticket to a 10-year-old. Well, maybe you will, but you're not going to. You're going to cite them into juvenile court. So now we're going to have juvenile court dealing with people who aren't wearing helmets. I get the concern. I think everyone appreciates the severity of the accidents that can happen, but there's enforcement concerns with the helmet as well. And I think it's a parental thing. You know,
Yeah,
I think we
right.
talked about it.
That's the way I kind of feel about
I
it.
mean, are we trying to overgovern parents here? Like, yes, you need to be responsible for your children. But essentially, that's the parents.
And I do see lots of kids wearing helmets when they ride.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's a parent thing, so.
Okay. Anything else on that?
I really would like, come spring, to just see maybe some joint efforts between the PD and the school to do some programs, to do
I was
some.
gonna suggest
Yeah,
that.
awareness, because I think what happened last summer is school got out and you really saw the issue, right? And I think that happened in all of the communities around here. It's
I
like,
mean,
oh,
there's programs out there for
Yeah.
it that
Yes.
you're not gonna,
There's state
Chief DePriest isn't gonna reinvent the wheel.
right, right.
Just gonna get in
Well,
front
he
of,
could,
just get in front of the students and say, hey, we recommend
Yeah.
that you don't ride a scooter unless
Yeah.
you're 10 years old. It's not a rule, but we recommend it.
Yeah,
right?
send stuff home for the parents to read.
Right.
Well, the helmet's a good idea too.
Helmets are
but-
great.
It's all just for some of that stuff, it's just all recommendations. We recommend that you do this. You know, and then leave the discretion for enforcement up to the police department.
Okay, the next proposal on the table is the enforcement portion, not only of the items we talked about tonight, but all of our language under the electric scooter chapter in our ordinance. Currently, as I understand it, the only enforcement action we have besides a warning would be to take the scooter away. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. In my view, that's not an appropriate way to try to enforce our ordinances, and I don't think we want to see the police having to take away someone's scooter. I think there'd be some pushback from the public if that's what we were doing. So I'm suggesting, rather than that we do a fine, and that parents would be responsible for the payment of those fines incurred by their minor children. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would respectfully disagree with that, and this is my reasoning is, you can, fine a parent as much as you want, and then, they take the kid's scooter away. Then they go to their friend's house, and they ride the scooter and get in trouble again. Now, the parent at that point has done what they can as a parent, telling their kid they're not allowed to ride a scooter. Now, unless you're going to keep your kid inside all summer and just control them all day long, there's not a lot you can do when they hop on a friend's scooter and ride it. So to fine a parent under that aspect, I just don't like it.
My concern with it is the kids at Grandma and Grandpa's parents live in Nebraska. I mean, you can't give them a criminal citation. That's unconstitutional. So now we have a civil penalty against parents who have never stepped foot in the city of Hawarden. I mean, there's just a lot of what ifs. What if someone doesn't have a parent? What if someone's under the supervision of a babysitter? To expose liability to a parent from a criminal standpoint, it has to be significant. It has to be firearms. It has to be contributing to delinquency. Improper supervision. I don't think it would fall under any of those categories. If your 12-year-old was riding a scooter and, I'm trying to think of some of our violations, went on a road that they weren't supposed to, I don't think that's improper supervision. Parent probably doesn't know you can't go on that road. We should probably post signs on the roads they can't go on. Has that been done?
No.
Yeah, we should probably do that. We can't expect kids to know that just based upon us passing an ordinance, but that would be my concern, is how do you determine what parent? You've got one, you've got two, none. So that would be my concern with just having a blanket, and it would have to be a civil penalty. It couldn't be criminal. And typically that only happens if there's property or personal damage to assess a parent. So I've never seen it done before. I don't think we'd want to be the first.
Like I said before, I understand the premise behind it all, and it's in theory, it's all great. If we turn this, and enforcement is something that we have to be able to do. We have to give Chief and his guys the ability to do something. What if instead of we added a fine? What if we just did, it's verbal warning, report to the parent, and then the third time, you lose your scooter. You're going to take it away. If you're going to continually, and as long as they know the rules, if you're going to continually do something like that, then they take their scooter away for 5 days. And then the next time they do it, they take it away for 10 days and 30 days, and do it progressively that way. Rather than, if I got a fine, like my kids, when my kids were growing up, and I got a fine for something my kids do, I'd fight it in court. That's what I would do. I mean, my kid's going to get punished for it at home, but I wouldn't pay the fine. So I think that's I think that'd be more a deterrent for the kid, especially if they know the rules, to say, hey, you know, if we break the rules, the cops are gonna come take your scooter away. I think that's more of a deterrent than mom and dad have to pay $25, and you got parents that will just pay the $25 just to get them out of their hair. You know what I mean? So I think that's more of a deterrent than anything else. I don't want the cops to have to take the scooters, but if you have kids out there that are habitually breaking the rules, because they do, they're kids, that's what they do. And if the teeth behind it is, I'm gonna take your scooter from you for 5 days, I think that's a bigger deterrent for the kid itself.
And that's what we have right now, 5
Right.
days the first time, to 30, I believe.
Yeah, but I think if, this is a good idea, but I think if you did it progressively,
Yeah.
how long you're gonna lose your scooter, and if you're gonna be a total jerk about it, then you lose your scooter privileges indefinitely. Just the way that makes more sense to me, because that'd be a bigger deterrent for the kid. And we gotta have the kids wanna follow the rules, not necessarily the parents making them follow the, you know what I mean? Because they're outside the house, you know, yeah, you're gonna listen to your parents, but kids are gonna be kids. We did it on our bicycles, so this is no different. That's the way I would look at it, so.
Chief, do you have any issues with taking the scooters away and then storing them and managing them and?
Yeah, it's definitely not a circumstance that I would look forward to. Right now, we've tried to handle it through warnings and speaking with the parents, just to make them aware, but we haven't actually used the special penalty at all. But like Jenny mentioned, before the ordinance was ever passed, you know, what if somebody mentions that, oh, my scooter wasn't damaged when it went to the PD and it came out damaged? That could be a costly endeavor, even if there's no wrongdoing on behalf of the city. So anytime we would take it, it would have to be something that the act was egregious, unsafe, and placed themselves or others in danger.
My issue with that is, again, back to them riding their friend's scooter. If they're on their last warning to the point where it's indefinitely taking it away, what do? You take their friend's scooter indefinitely? Because, you know, that's not something their friend can control, is if they don't know that they're on that, you know, that last warning, or they might not know that they're not supposed to be riding it. So, you know, are we willing to take a kid's scooter that had nothing to do with it? There's just too many unknowns with this.
Yeah. Well, that's what our current language is.
And that's why I think
kind
Chief
of-
has indicated he's doing everything possible not to
Yeah.
have to do
And I would
that.
rather him do that.
I'd
I
rather it
agree.
be
And
not
if he,
try to-
you know,
his discretion.
yeah, some
Yep.
parents may welcome it. Take his scooter for 5 days, so I don't have to deal with it.
Right.
But if someone's banging at his door to give me my scooter, I'm gonna say, "Miss-
Yeah, but I would rather still have him have the ability to do that, so.
Okay. Anything else on that? Okay. We will move on to our consent agenda. We've got two items: temporary transfer from the Hawarden Golf Club to the Hawarden Community Center on two different dates. I have a motion, please,
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes 5-0. We're at the end of our agenda. I would take a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Yes.
There's one, he wants to get out of here so bad.
Can't leave yet, though.
And a second.
all week.
I'll second.
Warner with a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. We are adjourned at 6:14. Thank you.
Once he gets all his ducks in a row. I knew they were
talking about? I
We'll
didn't
do it
know.
there next year. 135 is next year, 35th, so we'll do it there. So.
Better see you there.